Good morning from Paradise in Thailand. She's watering. So we've been here a while. We had a bunch of things on the list to do today. So we hit the ground running. I finished up this gate here, got this post out, had the guys help me load those concrete posts. I unloaded them in the back. Knocked a bunch of dirt off that big old stump out there so we can start trying to get it burned up. Filled in some dirt over here. Just a short list of, I should say a list of short projects. House folks are starting another wall inside the house this time, skim coating. We had a guy come out and give us a quote on the fence pieces for in between here. We got 3 different designs, 3 different numbers. We just had someone else contact us wanting to give us a quote. So I told Sampit if she wants to get another quote, that's fine. But they need to understand before they come out here that the best quality, lowest price is going to win. Even if it's a local, which is the problem. It's a local here. If they come and look at it, that doesn't mean we're going to hire them. And that's one of the problems you run into over here, is the local folks almost act like you owe it to them to give them a chance first. And I don't have a problem giving them a chance, but the Thai people, once they contact somebody and talk to them about doing a job for them, they feel obligated to let them do it. So we do have a couple designs, and we'll just let that person take a shot at them if they want. As I've said before, things are going to slow down on the videos because I'm not going to sit and record them skim coating every single day. Probably do an update report once a day, and if something else comes up, we'll throw that in there, such as any activity on the fence. Probably get the fences done first and then just get the gates later because we can get going on these right away. The other thing we're doing today, we're going over to Kanthralak. We're going to go to Global House, TOA, which is a paint company. We're going to get some primer for these walls and see if we can hire some locals to start primering these concrete walls. And we'll go ahead and paint those as soon as they're ready. Preferably paint them before we put the fence pieces in them. That way we don't have to worry about painting each other. So they've already got the rough coat here. It looks like they're heading down the hallway. Oh, they're using this for a campground now, too. They asked if it's okay if they slept in here. I told them I don't care. I don't have a problem with that. Duke was here yesterday. We looked at this leach field. He said if I pay for all the supplies and everything and just pay him for his guys to do the labor to do it. So he's going to get a backhoe in here. The backhoe will come in, dig it, and then I'll just pay the backhoe driver. So I think we can get the whole thing in one day if we work everything out logistically. If we have all the supplies here and some rock, backhoe will come in, dig the trench, throw the rock in the bottom of it, throw the pipe in there, bury the pipe with rock, put the material over it, and the backhoe just bury it. I mean, it won't take shit to do it. I am going to put a Y in it right here, though, so that if I ever have a problem, I can easily just dig up the Y, dig a trench, and just throw another pipe in. Simple. But I really can't put another one in now because Paradise Village is sitting in the way. So that's our update for this morning. I'm not even sure if I'll make another update. It just depends on what gets done. So they've got all the kitchen skim coated today. I know you can't see there. Got all the kitchen skim coated today. They're finishing out this little short wall here. And they did the entire hallway today as well. Probably can't see it well in the dark, but trust me, it's done. You can see down there. So they got laundry room, 2 bathrooms, office, master bedroom, and these 2 walls left here, and then everything outside except the patio wall. I have a feeling they're going to work in here tomorrow because they shored up the edges around the windows and the doors and everything today. But they still got to finish this wall up here. I don't know why they haven't done that yet, but they still got to finish this before they can do this wall or the closet. And in both the bathrooms, they've got to take these water lines up in the walls. I don't know how they could probably run this one around there. But we need the 3 water drops here. This is the sink here. So they got to get those in the wall before they can do these walls. And then they'll have to do the same thing in the bathroom laundry room with the water lines. Oh, they don't have one in the laundry room. Because the only water we have in the laundry room is the wash machine. So nothing needs to go in the wall in there. Let me get this wire out of the way. I got my microphone unhooked because for some reason it's not connecting properly to my receiver. Oh, sorry, kitty cat. All right, so that's the update on skimmed walls. Here's what we're doing tonight, though. I talked about the burnt up controller. I got another one today. So right now I'm gonna pull that other controller off, put this one on, and see what happens. So with that said, let me get the camera where the sun ain't shining in it. Power's off for those of you that pay attention. I opened that controller up at the store before we left the store after we bought it to verify it looked correct. The only thing different is there's a couple of wires that aren't the same color, but the wire on the schematic, the colors on the schematic were the same as on my well, so I think I can figure it out. I'm not going to bore you with this whole thing. I'll just get to the fun parts. Now, I'm not an electronics expert. The controller, this controller is 45, what is it, hertz on the capacitor, I think. It's hertz. And the one they sold me is 40. Everything else, all the parameters are the same. They assured me, one more time, they assured me that it would work without harming my pump. So let me show you what we got in here. See here, this is all burnt. This was going through these contacts right here. And for some reason, this overheated and just melted everything and actually burnt this wire into the back of the other one up here, which caused it to short out. I don't know what happened or how it happened, but to get them running, I just, where it was passing through here, I cut this wire where the bad part was, cut it off and just bypassed this little tie block here. And it's been running like that now for the last 2 days, or last day, I guess. But you can see even this got hot and melted that end of it. And I don't know what happened. Haven't had any problems today, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. But we got a new controller. Let me get it in here. Picture of this so I have what I've got now in case I need to come back to it. If it's a project where you're going to come back to it in a week or 2 weeks or 2 months or something, very easy to take a picture and reference it back. But because the wires are different colors in there, for some reason there's a red one in there. And he told me to take, yeah, it don't matter. He's wrong. We did find the correct one with the 45 megahertz on the capacitor, but it's in Bangkok. And that's an 8-hour drive from here, so it'd take a couple days to get one here via mail. So I told her we're just going to do this. Yeah, see, that one's burnt so bad I can't even get the screwdriver in the screw. Well, it's got plastic. But because this controller still works half-assed, right, I am going to hang on to it. So if I need it in an emergency, I can hook it back up. So for those of you that are interested, get ready to pause your camera. I'm going to show you the specifications for this controller right here. 220 volts, which they all are. It's 1.5 horse, 1.1 kilowatt, 45 UF is for the capacitor size, and then 12 amps for the short circuit cutout. Now get ready to pause your camera again if you want to see the new one. It is 1.5 horsepower, 40 and 12 amps also. So they're telling me it'll work. And I've researched on the internet, and a capacitor just is like a online battery, I guess. It holds a amount of juice in it, so if your voltage is fluctuating, it will help hold that constant juice going to the motor. So constant voltage going to the motor. So I think they're right, but I don't really know because, like I said, I'm not an electronic. I've had this here all day, but I didn't want to replace it till they were done working today in case something doesn't work out right now. I wouldn't have affected their work today. I told Stomp that the one that's on there is running, just keep it running so they can keep busy. We'll figure it out at the end of the day. Wish I had my microphone. I'm not talking loud because I'm used to having this microphone with it, so I don't have to. So I got a schematics right here on the inside. 3 of the 4 wires match this, And like I said, my gray one here goes to the yellow one in the box. In here they show a green yellow, which is what the neutral is in here. That clamp up a little bit more. Then we tighten this clamp so that the wires won't get pulled out. If something pulls on this wire, it'll rip the box off the wall before it'll rip the wires out. Come on. Now the capacitor, the switch was in between the capacitor and the line, but on this one it's the other way around, so I don't know. The guy at the store told Sompit, or she understood him to say, I don't know which one it was, that it doesn't matter how you hook them up. And at that point I said, yeah, this will work. Just tell him forget it. We'll figure it out. See a bunch of ants right here. I hope they're not getting ready to attack me. We're about done, so. The other thing is I don't have a check valve on this well line. So every time you shut it off, the thing sits and drains everything back down into the well. So I bought a check valve today. And I bought a check valve today, but I don't have all the pieces. I was going to put it on tonight, but I got to get some pieces tomorrow to get it to fit in. Well, actually it'll fit it. I got to adapt it to their side. So the pumps were running over there. We have water in paradise. All right, so everything's running. It's ready to go. I'm going to unplug this, put the cover on it, and go tell them that they are ready to go for water, and don't leave the damn pump running for hours straight. With that, another beautiful sunset. Paradise in Thailand. Thanks for joining us. It's morning in paradise again. So I've been here a while. Had a couple projects I want to knock out before the sun got too high and gets too hot. First, let me give you a little background on this first project. The plan is to tie into the pump house over there for the main house supply, bring it around underground outside, along here, run one line into the sink, around to the back bathrooms. So while they have that trenched out, I'm going to lay a 3/4 inch piece of pipe alongside of it, run it down through here, and then run it back out here. So we've got some hose drops back here for water and plants and trees and whatnot. And that line will tie in pre-water softener, so I'm not softening water and then throwing it out here on the ground. Yesterday I was laying over there looking at this and I thought, you know what? I'm running the pipe right by here. While this is trenched out, I might as well put a line in here now, go into this wall and bring it right up here. So if I ever lose my pump over there, I still got water out here. So today I come in and I dug under my little curb or dam or whatever you want to call that thing. I dug under there, so today I'm going to go into town, get some pipe, and I'm just going to run a piece of 3/4 inch pipe around through here and up and just cap both ends of it. Whenever they run the other line, I'll just tie that into my line going back there. The other project I had this morning, right here, as you recall, we put this in to keep the water from going across and washing out over there. So this morning I brought in my 4-inch grinder with a diamond wheel on it and cut this out so that the water doesn't have to get up to here to spill in there. It'll start spilling right away and free fall down into here, and we'll take much more volume because by the time it gets to here, there's going to be a pretty good flow going in there. But anyhow, that was another project I want to knock out this morning, and as you can see, that's done. Not the most professional looking thing, but hey, I'm not a professional. Hunaban or somebody recognized an error. So this morning they just finished jackhammering all the concrete out around that door. That door frame's too low. So they took a hammer drill, knocked that all out, and they're going to raise that door frame up. I think it's about 5 centimeters too low. I noticed this morning. I'm fairly confident they will take care of it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it to make sure that they do before they just cover it up. Literally and metaphorically. I need concrete up and down that rebar. That plate up there prevented the concrete from getting under it. One going this way, the beam going this way, same thing. So I'm going to make sure they pack that full of concrete before they cover it up. I noticed this beam here in the middle. I hope they cover the whole beam because it is sagging right in the middle because of the way this guy formed it up. In my opinion, my unexperienced opinion. There's a seam here in the form. You put a 2x4 on there to tie the two together, but you should have put this under that, not here. It allowed this to sag, and on the other side you can see that 2x4 is separating away from the upper 2x4. Oh, while I'm out here, project later today is I got that check valve I want to put in here to keep the water from draining back down into the well. I think it just put less work on the pump when it's starting up, trying to push up that column of water. It'll just basically, I'm going to put the check valve in line right here. So the water will already be up here. It's just got to push it out. The kitchen looks pretty good. Sounds like they're jackhammering. It ain't jackhammer, it's a hammer drill. In the last video, I was joking about this mixer making that noise. And some of the maintenance departments I'd worked for in the past, I jokingly said that's how they knew when it was time to grease them. Well, today, they're mixing by hand. Want to know why? Because they didn't service the mixer, and the mixer's down now. So now they get to work. They have started on this office. They pretty much got it rough covered in. A little bit left there, the rest of it on this wall here. But they'll get this done today for sure. We got some running around to do. I got to go get some pipe and stuff for that check valve, so I'm ready this afternoon on that project. I try to get my projects early in the morning, late in the afternoon, when it ain't so hot. All right, so I'm going to leave them alone. My plants are getting thirsty. I haven't watered them yet this morning, so I'm going to get that taken care of before it gets much hotter, because believe it or not, just watering plants since standing in this sun, it gets hot. It's absolutely amazing. I spent a lot of time in Central America and Mexico, and this is a different hot, man. It's a different hot. It's hot in the sun. You step out of the sun, and then it ain't too bad anymore. They're kind of starting to shut down now. They cleaned up their equipment. First, let's start. This morning, I said something about maybe putting a pipe in this trench over here for water out at the pond. So I went to town, sourced the pipe, talked to Hunaban in here, and says, all right, if I go ahead and put a pipe in there before you guys get yours in? He said, yeah, no problem. So I just ran it underground, capped it off there to there. As I said earlier, when we run that irrigation line down through here, I'll just tie it in wherever it is. It doesn't matter, but tie it in and go back there. And we're going to have some irrigation drops back there. I do have the parts to get my check valve put in here. I've got them all sitting over there ready to go. I'm just waiting for them to finish up. Once they get all over to the Paradise Village over there, I'll go tell them I'm going to shut the water off for a couple minutes. All I got to do is cut this, glue my piece on there, cut this, glue this back into my piece. It's all built over there, ready to go. Long enough for the glue to dry is all it's going to be off. We got that wall done, this wall done. I think the only thing they got left is that little piece in the corner in here and all the columns throughout the house. Office is completely done except the columns. And they just finished up this front wall here. I think they've still got some little bit of floating to do with it, but for the most part, it's done. No issues with the well today after I put the new controller in last night. So that's good news. I think they have the master bedroom, the 2 bathrooms, and the laundry room left to skim coat, and our closet. The 2 bedrooms and the closet are not ready to go yet. The laundry room and the master bedroom are ready to go. So they'll probably, I imagine, start in the master bedroom and the laundry room tomorrow. I don't know. I talked about this earlier. I was told Duke's bringing a new one, or another one. I don't know if it's new, but he's bringing one in here this evening sometime. So hopefully they won't be mixing by hand tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have a new mixer over here. I'm going to buy him a grease gun for Christmas. But I like this skim coat. I mean, they did a nice job on it. Looks good. I'm not going to video my little check valve installation. It's going to be quick and easy. It'll be right at the end of the night before I go home. All right, I don't know if you can see the sweat running down my head. Fortunately, it was fairly cloudy today, so we had some reprieve from the sun at times, but it's still hot out. Sompit had a good idea yesterday. She said I should like put a little paddle wheel on the end of this that spins and makes a noise, or like a whistle or something. So it'll just sit here and whistle the whole time the water's running. I'll get tired of hearing it and go shut it off. All right, your one and only update for today. Had to go to Sisket this morning to immigration to do my first 90-day check-in, which at this office, you have to personally show up with your bank statement for your first 90-day check-in. Got here about midday, too hot to be walking around, so it's the end of the day. I'm going to walk around now. They've got all of the corners and windows and doors and everything trimmed on the outside, so they are ready to start skim coating out here. I got the back wall of this done today. Other than beams, the living room is completed. They did the entire master bedroom today, except the beams. None of the beams are done yet. The bathrooms are not ready because the plumbing is not in the walls yet. I don't know what the hang up is. They do have the outside windows trimmed so we can skim the outside. This room is not ready because this wall isn't done. I'm not sure why. I think there's enough bricks out there on that pallet to do it. Okay, that's our updates, and this is about what you're going to get for a minute because I'm not going to sit and video them skim coating every day. Duke did bring the mixer in, the new mixer, sometime today. It wasn't here when I got here around midday, but they were already hand mixing. Everything was dirty, so I imagine they're just going to run this tomorrow. Imagine that lid ain't gonna last long. They'll get rid of that. So last night before I left, I put this check valve in here to keep the water from falling back down to the water table, just to make it easier for the pump starting up. I had one of these fittings. It's a 1.5 to 3/4 adapter. I had one of these over on the Salah. So when I was pre-fitting everything over at Salah, when I slid the 1.5 inch pipe in there, this fitting split right down the side. So I tossed it aside, went to town, got another one. Last night when I was putting this together, when I shoved the 3/4 inch pipe in there, this one split all the way back to there. It was the only one I had, and it was already past closing time, so I just slopped glue all over it and wrapped some wire around it to hold it together. The boy said he could get these old pieces out of there if we need to use that one if we need to, but I did pick up another one in Sisaket today, so it's leaking, as you can see, but it's not horribly bad. The worst leak is right here in these threads for some reason. Probably because I didn't have a wrench to tighten them, but I tightened them with my hand as tight as I could. I was thinking about trying to just go ahead and replace that tonight, but I don't think I'm going to. Just try to ride the storm out with that. If it breaks when I'm not here, they got that one, or I got the other one in my truck. No other news that I'm aware of. We'll see you sometime tomorrow.